Good morning, and thanks for joining our session. We hope that you've enjoyed the programming so far. If you haven't had a chance to meet somebody that you wanted to during the networking session, don't worry, there will be time to do that. And we also welcome you to join us at our booth later today. In this session, we're going to be talking about streamlining the digital employee experience. My name is Eric Hemmer. I'm a principal solution consultant at ServiceNow. And I get to spend a lot of time with our various customers in federal government as well as different industries to understand their different digital employee experience trends and strategies. So with that, we're going to take a look at why customers are doing this. A lot of customers are doing this in order to provide an easier experience for their employees. They want their employees to be able to find anything that they need, whether that be people, systems, answers, or help or support across all of the different silos that typically exist in any large organization. Oftentimes that starts with them creating a unified service experience so their employees can get help from any different part of the organization, regardless of their type of question or request. But many times customers are then branching out and helping those employees find information, even if it lives external to ServiceNow. And they're utilizing concepts such as universal approvals or universal tasking in order to help them do that and get back into the flow of work where they can be the most productive. And then finally, we've seen a trend over the last couple of years where our customers are replacing the corporate intranet in order to consolidate those digital experiences one step further in order to help their employees get the information they need and get on with their busy lives at work. So let's take a look at some of these concepts in more detail. We're going to start and break this down into a few parts. The first is going to be enterprise service management. The second will be intranet. And then towards the end, I'll actually do a live demonstration so that you can see how this looks in practice. Now, these are some of the ugliest slides you will ever see, but they're some of my favorite. They were given to me by P&G years ago, and I show these to a lot of customers. And essentially what P&G said to me was, Eric, we have a problem. We have 5 different portals where employees have to go. There's one for IT, one for finance, one for HR, one for facilities and real estate, and then there's another one, which is our intranet. And it's really confusing for our employees to know where to go. So they spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. Then in many cases, they open the wrong type of ticket and they're told by that department, no, this was wrong. We're going to close this out. You need to go to this other website and open a different ticket. And they said, this is the state of our employee experience today. And when I show this to customers, inevitably they say, this is what we're contending with too. People are pulling their hair out trying to get the answers, information, and support that they need to just go about and do their jobs. And enterprise service management seems fairly black and white, but you can talk about it in a lot of different perspectives. You can talk about it from the perspective of how your different teams are organized. Are they in a shared service model or not? You can talk about it from all of the different use cases that span across the enterprise or organization, and all the different services that those parts of the organization provide to employees. And it can be very confusing. But one of the ways that we like to think about it first and foremost is from the perspective of the employee herself. How does she find things? And ServiceNow has done a very good job at allowing you to create this unified service experience where it's one service portal or employee service center where they go to get anything that they need. And we've made large advancements in this as we roll out more and more purpose-built applications for HR and IT and workplace services or facilities, legal, procurement. And of course, if there's any support function or service organization that we haven't rolled out a purpose-built application for out of the box, you can always use the ServiceNow App Engine in order to provide that function and application for your employees. We also provide the employee a omni-channel experience. So whether they're on their browser, on a laptop or tablet, a mobile responsive experience on their mobile device, the native mobile app, or they want to have a conversational element of support through the chatbot, they can do that. We also allow all these different teams to communicate important information to the employee. So you'll see the bottom arrow on this graphic pointing to the employee. So she is proactively given information in order to address questions or concerns that she may have before she even has to open a ticket. And that's going to be a key element when we get to the next section and start talking about replacing the corporate intranet. One of the things that we've done with universal requests is to allow the employee to just create one ticket. And that's all she sees. Regardless of how many teams are working on her behalf on the back end or opening child tasks or tickets, she only sees one. So she doesn't see all these other types of tickets opening and closing in the background. So it's easy for her. And we're leveraging our investments in things like artificial intelligence and machine learning to understand the nature and intent of the initial request and route it to the correct team and the correct people on the team with the right skills in order to address her question or concern most quickly. That's also going to help her get back into the flow of work, because it's not only what you see, but it's what you get. And the thing I like the most about this slide are all the arrows pointing back and forth between the different teams, because universal requests makes it even easier for these different teams to coordinate their efforts and work on behalf of the employee, while shielding the employee from all of the different complexity that would normally take place and possibly be visible to them. So this is a really key component to delivering a great experience with enterprise service management. Another way to think about this is with this universal portal is what a lot of our customers have done, where you create one landing page. In this example, it's called Ask Anything, and you can see that it's been rolled out for IT and HR and facilities for the benefit of the employees. And this particular customer has taken it a step further with ServiceNow's App Engine to create additional services for transportation as well as document services. So you can continue to scale this horizontally, but make it very simple for the employee to find anything that she needs in one place. Another way to think about this is the way that you are utilizing the ServiceNow platform, how you're adopting it and how you're coordinating across the different teams. A lot of customers start by purchasing ServiceNow in different silos. IT purchases it, HR purchases it, another team purchases it. And they realize that by rolling out separate service portals, it may not have been the best experience for the employees. So one of the first things that they start to do is informally cooperate, maybe unify those service portals together. And a lot of times at this point, they start asking us for advice. What are the best practices for governing and operating ServiceNow across multiple teams? And we have a lot of great information on the ServiceNow website under customer success that you can utilize. And then what some customers do is they create a center of excellence. So they form a new team that is responsible for managing ServiceNow on behalf of all the other teams that are utilizing it. And what's great about this is they can now develop standards so that there's a common format for things like knowledge base articles, for the notifications that are being sent out, for the survey questions, to making sure that different priorities mean the same priority means the same thing across different teams, so that the expectations for the employee are always met. And then some companies graduate from what I'll call junior varsity to varsity, which is global business services. And this requires a major reorganization because you've got all these teams now, all these support functions are now rolling up to a single global business service leader. But there's huge financial benefits to doing this. These are representative numbers, but they're very realistic. We have a large pharmaceutical company, by the way, that's in level 3 of global business service, and they're telling us that they're saving $500 million per year by operating this way, and that's real money. Now, ServiceNow isn't responsible for all those savings, but we are the enabling technology that makes that possible. And even within GBS, there are different levels of maturity as you start consolidating teams and call centers so that somebody just picks up the phone and has one question, just like they would just go to that one portal if they need anything. And anybody who picks up the phone is able to address that type of question or escalate it if need be. And so we see more of this trend moving towards global business services as well. But you don't just have to take our word for it. You can look to some of the experts like Forrester, where ServiceNow was clearly the leader in the last wave that they published. So if you're looking to adopt enterprise service management for your organization or global business services, there's one clear leader, and we're waiting for the next Forrester wave to come out shortly. With that, I would like to transition into the topic of the intranet replacement, a very strong trend we've seen for the last couple of years. And the same driver is that element of consolidation. I'll give you a quick example. I was shadowing and interviewing a lady at one of our customers a couple of years ago, and she explained to me that one day her laptop was on the fritz and she needed a new one. So she started searching for ways to get a new laptop. She couldn't find anything. And she had 3 coworkers standing behind her, looking over her shoulder, and they spent 45 minutes looking for ways to get a new laptop. And I thought, well, how is this possible? That should be the first thing she finds. The problem was she was in their intranet, which was powered by another technology. She didn't realize she had to go from their intranet, click on IT service support, and then go into ServiceNow before she started her search. And this plays out hundreds of thousands of times every day across the US. So what can we do about that? Well, we can consolidate one step further, and that's what a lot of our customers are doing. So some of these graphics are coming from specific customer initiatives where they are replacing their corporate intranet or their employee portal with ServiceNow. This one came from a very large retailer with over 100,000 associates. And you can see, very similar to the first graphic I showed you, it's an associate surrounded by lots of digital technologies or experiences or systems and a lot of question marks. The only difference is that she's not pulling out her hair like the lady in the first one. But they want to use a concept called design thinking to streamline the digital experience for her so that she can always find what she needs. And there's a high element of personalization and consistency and integration. And we talk about ServiceNow being digitally connected to lots of different systems to make it simple for the employee. Here's another graphic that comes from another customer, and it may look a little different, but it is the exact same concept. They're saying that our employees have to contend with lots of digital experiences, and it's very confusing. More is more. And this customer is multinational and has several 100,000 employees, so you can imagine the complexity of their digital landscape. They want to simplify everything for them, put that employee at the center of the experience, and allow them to get things and know things and connect with others. And this last graphic here comes from the internal employee experience strategy deck at one of our customers in Europe. And it's obvious that the graphic on the right is better than the one on the left because it's simpler. But what I really like about this one the most is all the arrows are pointing towards the employee. And this goes back to that proactive communication that we deliver, what we call targeted content and campaigns, where you can drive information in a personalized manner to employees and answer questions before they even knew that they had them. And this is what has unlocked the ability for communications teams to also leverage ServiceNow to replace that legacy intranet. And why are they doing that? Well, they're taking a whole new approach. In fact, I really wouldn't want ServiceNow to be associated with an intranet because there's a lot of legacy bad connotations with an intranet. People refer to them as link farms or flea markets where you don't know what's relevant, what's old, what's compatible, who owns what, etc. But our customers are talking about ServiceNow as being actionable. A lot of the legacy intranets were built on content management systems that were relatively passive. People would publish information, but they couldn't drive behaviors with that. They couldn't make the employees do anything with that. Also, ServiceNow is digitally connected with our integration hub an ever-expanding list of integrations to other enterprise functional systems. So people can get what they need or use ServiceNow as an intelligent launchpad to get to where they need to go. And also the intelligent workflow that allows us to do things like assign tasks to employees in order to make sure they're doing the things that they need to do. And this is something that communications teams really appreciate about ServiceNow. Now, ServiceNow is not arrogant enough to believe that employees are only going to start and stay in ServiceNow. We believe that they're going to come to ServiceNow, but also use it as a launching point to other technologies, or they'll be using other technologies as part of their day-to-day work. In this example, you can see how ServiceNow is creating an omni-channel approach to our communications to meet employees where they are at. This example happens to be Teams, but we do the same thing with Slack. We do the same thing with Facebook Workplace. This example you see is a dashboard of ServiceNow Service Portal in Teams. And when you publish information as part of an informational campaign, you can target people in teams to meet them where they are at. Here's another example that is Facebook Workplace. And again, you can see the announcement in the center that was part of a campaign that was built in ServiceNow and launched in ServiceNow, but is meeting the employees where they are. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things that are future statements. So we need to show the safe harbor slide, meaning that ServiceNow could change our plans at any particular time. But the first one here is slated to come out in Quebec, which is just around the corner within the next month or two. And this is the campaign preview function and multi-department enhancements that we're releasing. Because we know that in many cases, different departments, different teams have their own content managers. And so we want to be able to provide a mechanism where they can have restricted access to publish certain types of content to certain pages or devices and to specific audiences. Also, the preview function is going to be very important, where you can see what a campaign is going to look like to a person in a particular audience on a particular page and on a particular date. So you can see it in context and relationship to all of the other content that they're being served up. Another enhancement that I really like are these dynamic topic pages. This is a concept that many of our customers have built themselves. But what we want to do is say, based on our research, we know employees typically start searching for something based on a topic. Not, I need an answer, I'm going to navigate through the knowledge base, or I know that this is a request and I'm going to navigate through the catalog. They want to go to a topic where they have information about that topic that's coming from the different campaigns. They might have knowledge articles. They might also have catalog items. They might also have links to other systems that handle transactions for that particular type of topic. So this employee-centric browsing interface is one that I'm particularly excited about, and I know our customers will be too. Now, let's take a look at a couple of examples. This comes from the Henry M. Jackson Foundation for the Advancement of Military Medicine. They're doing great work over there, and I've talked to Mark DeCerio, their CTO, a number of times. You know, before they revamped their ServiceNow portal, he told us that they couldn't pay their employees to go to the portal. They would always resort to picking up the phone. So it must not have been a great experience. But they revamped this, and now you can see that it includes the news that they need. It includes tools that they need to go to other systems. They heavily utilize different forms, and so people can easily find the different forms that they may need for different types of requests and processes. They also utilize something that we call team forums or employee forums or communities, so that people can interact with one another. They end up crowdsourcing answers. They also are able to even have a forum with their CEO and get direct responses. So this is a great engaging experience, and it's become the default tab that they have when they open their browser. So unlike before, where they couldn't pay their employees to go to their old service portal, now it's the place where everyone starts their day. Here's another example from a logistics provider in Australia. And one of the things that's very common across a lot of the different examples here is you'll see something like the company news, because the communications team is providing that to everyone. You'll also see the application launcher, and many times people have this concept of favorites, where they can favorite their favorite applications, their favorite articles, and that type of thing. You'll also see this notion of the team pages or topic pages over on the right. So this is an element of delegated content administration, where you can say to certain people, you have the ability to curate the information that goes onto your page as well. And therefore, everybody has a role in making sure that this is a great environment. But it never becomes a flea market, because these pages have a consistent layout, and you can use the intelligent workflows within ServiceNow to make sure that everything is always up to date, modern, relevant, and that nothing is archaic and left out there to start to form the foundations of a link farm. With that, we're going to transition slightly and go into a live demonstration. So let me go ahead and pull up Chrome here, and we could take a look at some of these other concepts in live. What you see here is a sample intranet replacement based on the ServiceNow platform. And we're logged in here as Maria. And the great thing is that ServiceNow knows everything about Maria. We know her position, her role, her title, her department, her location. So you can provide a very personalized experience. And personalization can be driven by a couple of things. It can be machine-driven personalization. ServiceNow certainly has a lot of that, which we enact with our user criteria and HR criteria for all the announcements and news and videos that you post for people. Some can also be customizations where your employees pick or designate certain preferences, and that can influence the things that they see. When we go to Maria's personal profile page, you'll see some more of that as well. You can even do things like geolocation tracking, so it knows where she is. It can display useful information like the weather. And as you roll out pages like this, you're going to want to get feedback on the pages themselves. So why not allow people to provide feedback on the pages or feedback on the specific content on the page so that you can do a better job of serving them. One of the most important things with any employee portal is going to be searching within ServiceNow and searching without ServiceNow and externally as well, so they can get answers from one place. And that element of enterprise service management that we talked about, if Maria types cover, maybe she's looking for a new cover for her iPhone, for example, something that would be given to her by IT. But if she adds 3 letters to that and makes it coverage, maybe she's looking for information about her healthcare or dental benefits coverage from HR. And it doesn't stop there. She could get information that legal is publishing, that facilities or workplace services, procurement, whatever she needs, all from one place. Notice here that she has access to the news. We can even leverage things like machine learning to track her behaviors and make recommendations to her based on other things that people with similar profiles are looking at. So we know that she's a leader. Maybe she's been searching knowledge articles for ways to become a better leader. We can have machine learning actually recommend content to her. Maybe she's somebody that hires. You can create and extend ServiceNow to other systems or create purpose-built applications using App Engine in order to help her do the best job that she can filling positions within the organization. You can also extend and create additional widgets in the service portal. We found through our research that for organizations that have dining facilities within their headquarters, for example, is that one of the top 3 questions is usually what's for lunch. So you can allow people to see that here. You could have it on their mobile device. You could even allow them to ask the virtual agent, what's for lunch? So ServiceNow doesn't always have to be for the traditional types of services that you think about. Here's some examples of some of the different team forums or employee forums that she can join. So ServiceNow has the ability to extend well beyond the traditional service that you typically think is associated with it. As I mentioned, it's actionable. So as part of these campaigns, you can assign tasks to people so they can take actions and do what you need them to do, even if that's simply watching a video or acknowledging something. And as part of that, you could even say, hey, we want you to sign this policy, for example. ServiceNow is also able to extend into other systems. So somebody might want to see their PTO balance. They might want to see their latest payroll information. And you can do this for them without even saving this information in ServiceNow. You can pull this over and allow them to see it in real time using something called remote tables, which should make your security team really happy. But guess what? If they have a question or concern about what they're seeing in their latest pay stub, they can still get help through ServiceNow or through the virtual agent in order to take advantage of the typical support functions that you associate with ServiceNow. And then as part of that personalization level again, you can provide something like this where depending on what systems they use most frequently, they can go ahead and store their favorites. So this is how you create a great and compelling experience for employees like Maria. And if you have any questions, we do hope that you would come and visit our booth and ask any of our experts there how you can go ahead and take advantage of ServiceNow to create a streamlined digital experience for all of your employees. Thank you. This was Eric Hemmer, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation.